All right, welcome everybody. Welcome back to Chant It Down. I'm your host Loomis, and chantitdownradio.com is the website. And today's episode is 294. We're going to talk about the Knights of Malta. And I have a returning guest and exceptional researcher, author, filmmaker, and fellow podcast host, William Ramsey at William Ramsey Investigates. We've talked a lot on this show about the on Chant It Down in general about the individual units of control, like the System Tentacles series I did way back. We've talked a lot about many players and groups in our lives that are trying to run this, and many guesses at who might be at the top of the control pyramid. But sometimes it's nice to hone in on one group and just look at their influence. Today we're talking about the Knights of Malta, one of the groups that maybe doesn't get a lot of attention in the beginning. They were known as the Knights Hospitallers. And when I went to Malta last year, I tried looking for the Grand Master's Lodge in Valletta, and nobody even knew where it was. It's crazy to think that people who live there hardly know about this deeply rooted clandestine organization. So yet this group is huge. They have a seat at the United Nations, and they are hidden in plain sight. Many players in the global scene of power seem to belong to this order. So William is here to inform you guys on that. And William, welcome back to Chant It Down.
Loomis, thanks for having me. It's great to be with you again. Thanks for the invite.
Oh, yeah. Good to have you always. So, yeah, I mean, you've done a lot of research on the Knights of Malta and found that Trump's cabinet is full of Knights of Malta members. I guess we could start there, but I mean, there's a lot of history to this, so we could go the other way around too, but wherever you feel comfortable.
You're absolutely right. We could start from the present going back, or go to the beginning to the present. And I think it's interesting that you've been to Valletta. I've got some great video we can show of the inside of St. John's Cathedral there. It's in the very center of kind of the old town of Valletta. It's a beautiful cathedral, and it's really nice. And I mean, the pictures that I've seen of Malta make me really want to go there. Like, it's almost otherworldly kind of in its beauty. And
yeah, it kind of reminds me of a Catholic Middle East. It's the color of the pyramids in Egypt. Everything's that tan color, but it's all Catholic.
Yeah, it's wild. With its own language, it almost has a foreign language. So the street names are a little different. They're not Latin.
Right.
Yeah, it's really a kind of a cool place. Like you said, it's the Knights of Malta. It has these other names that are confusing. Its old, like, full name was the Sovereign Military Hospitaller Order of St. John of Jerusalem, of Rhodes, and of Malta. So it's kind of a long name, but they shortened it out to the Sovereign Military Order of Malta. And the reason it has that long name is that it bounced from Jerusalem during the Crusades to Cyprus, the Isle of Cyprus, south of Turkey, to the Isle of Rhodes in Greece, or the Aleutian Ocean, and then ending up in Malta. And they've always kind of been a very, like, a knighthood, a Christian knighthood. They're different than the Templars. They were like coexisted with the Templars, who arguably, I think, were destroyed in the 14th century. And that's why we have this Jacques de Molay group. And Friday the 13th was when they were destroyed and wrapped up. But they were a coexisting different order. And then you can talk to people and say they went underground, which I think is actually kind of valid. Like, they clearly were extant, but they don't have a public face like the Knights of Malta do.
Right.
Who are public. And I use that word clandestine. I did a recent show with Chris of Forbidden Knowledge News, and he used that. I think it's the right term, because they are public, but they're also clandestine. They do not divulge their membership lists, but they're very powerful people, and very powerful, associated with really one of the most powerful organizations in the world, the Catholic Church, and kind of amongst researchers who aren't among the elite. These are the three nexus points of global power: the City of London, Washington, D.C., and the Vatican. And they're right there in the Vatican. And I'll show that in some of these slides.
Yeah. So these, how many members are supposed to be active?
According to their member list, they have 13,500 members of the Knights of Malta, but they also have females. So some could be knights and some are known as dames.
Right. So it's a unisex order. It's not just a fraternal order. They have dames, chaplains, and when I research, it seems like there's 3 classes of order. And in this first class, I noticed something just kind of stuck out, that there are currently 33 Knights of Justice and 6 professed eventual chaplain. So 33 is, of course, a number that keeps always coming up in this kind of stuff. But
And it's interesting you bring that up because there are some people involved with this group who like are from the pit of hell. Like Jimmy Savile is a member or was a
yeah,
member of the Knight of Malta, and the people who know about him know he was very dark. And also Alan Dulles, who was the head of the CIA and did all kinds of head of MK Ultra and governmental overthrows, involved in JFK assassination, like a real heavy duty dark actor, in my opinion.
yeah. So and there's quite a list of European royalty that is part of it. Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands, the Prince of Naples, Juan Carlos of Spain. A lot of people's names on there. Some people even say the Bushes. I've never been. I haven't been able to confirm that yet. And even Henry Kissinger, but I don't know. That's just
Prescott Bush is alleged to be a member, according to
okay.
one list I've seen.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. So that means his sons are either associated or maybe even Knights of Malta, as far as I know. I don't know.
And Frank Sinatra was on there,
Yeah,
which is interesting. Yeah.
there's some a lot of celebrities. Miles Davis, an African American guy, and also Sammy Davis Jr. was a member.
Oh, well, he was
So
also a member of the Church of Satan, I think,
right,
or hung out with LaVey. So
there's a famous
yeah,
picture of those guys together. He
yeah.
actually did a show. I think it was called Hello Satan or something like that. Like there's an old video of him like literally promoting Satanism. Really wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's he doing in an ostensibly Christian organization like the Knights of Malta?
Right. So it's not a they're not exclusive just to like Freemasons are more like segregated. I think there's a black order like the Prince Hall and stuff, and the white orders, but seems like just anybody is in there that there, and women. So it's like it says unisex. Or
It is interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting, like how some people become members. I guess they get, asks or something like that.
yeah.
But it is an elite group. I mean, and they have all kinds they get this benefit being a member where you're like, that's why it's called sovereign. It's like they are sovereign from other arrangements. So it's a sovereign entity in international law if you're a member. So you don't have a territory, but you have your own Knight of Malta passport.
Yeah.
Diplomatic relations with 100 countries. There's only 170 countries or 80 countries. And then observer status at the United Nations. So it is its own, it's like a legacy. This isn't an organization, I said it before, not centuries old, millennia old. So it predates like even, the United States and some existing nations in the world. So it's really something else. It's really remarkable.
Yeah. Yeah. They've been around since about 10,000.
I think it's
years,
I
something
think
like
they go back to the 11th century.
11th century. So
1000 something is there.
Yeah.
I think it was founded
1000.
according to this, founded 1048 in Jerusalem by Blessed Gerard as a monastic community to care for pilgrims. And then officially recognized as a religious order by Pope Pascal II in 1113.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. That's it. So
and it is based on St. John. So if you remember your Bible or your New Testament, John the Baptist is St. John, and they have the iconography and the pictures of St. John in their chapels and things like that. It was originally kind of like, and their original thing is like medical care, and they still do it today.
right.
So they're in like multiple countries. I believe they're in Gaza, helping out with the genocide and all kinds of places like that. So.
Right.
Their motto. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that should be noted that they're the Knights Hospitalers, and they employ about 52,000 doctors, nurses, and paramedics. I mean, is this kind of where we get the medical mafia in a way, huh? Because the Maltese cross and the symbol of the Red Cross, very similar. Those red and white colors. People say the red's for blood, and I've even heard the whites for semen. I mean, that's possible. I don't know. It's pretty.
I think the color motif is not accidental. I think it's intentional. So you see the same colors in Switzerland as well. The Swiss flag is red and white, and they have kind of a history too. They have a lot of stuff attached to the Pope, but their motto is "Tucio fide et obsequium pauperum," which is defense of the faith and assistance to the poor.
Yeah. You know what? I just remember I was just driving earlier, and I noticed that I have some neighbors from the small island group of Tonga, and they have the Tongan flag out there, and that also has the red and white. I don't know the history of that, but that's just something I'd throw in there. And
Nothing would surprise me. So there's kind of like, it's kind of like the Masons or something, like a secret
yeah,
influence on certain events that you'll never know. I've done shows on the Pilgrim Society, which is located in the city of London, and there's this concept of public diplomacy and private diplomacy. So I think this is private diplomacy. So this is international intrigue because it's an international organization with members all over the world, but they're organized outside of state constructs or whatever. So it's people can make decisions or go to maybe they're going to the Knights of Malta headquarters in Rome and figuring stuff out or making decisions, but it's really something else.
yeah, and these guys would be, I mean, their allegiance is to the Catholic Church, and I mean, it seems to me that the top of the pyramid that we can kind of figure out is Jesuits, black nobility, that. So this is really tied into the real top part that at least a lot of people kind of come to, isn't it?
100%, absolutely. Yeah. It's right on the Pope. I mean, I think its international reach is really what's important, and people have the same thing. Like they're all. I mean, I think they're all Catholic. There's nobody who's Protestant. Well, I take that back. I think that it's tied in, like you said, to the European nobility. That was the original members were all nobles. Those are the people who could become knighthoods. So it's not something out of like a fictional novel. Like the knights were underneath the kings and the gentry and the aristocracy. So I think that whole heraldric order thing was present up until the more present day. So yeah, I do think that they're very important. And you'll see these people pop up in so many world events without stating their allegiance or membership in the Knights of Malta. People who are around, like, I mean, people today you'll see on TV, Alina Habba, her dad is a chancellor of the U.S. Knights of Malta. You can go to their website. So she's a counselor to the current President Trump, and then also Eric Prince, who has all kinds of really crazy associations in the right, is also a known Knight of Malta, admitted Knight of Malta, Blackwater, and friends with overlaps with so many people. I think like Peter Thiel, who wants Maltese citizenship, and all these other characters. Pete Thiel is also a Bilderberger and all this other stuff. Like it's crazy.
Right, so you can overlap with other organizations as a Knights of Malta member. You don't have to be just a Knights of Malta. You could be in the Club of Rome. Well, actually, I believe that the Club of Rome was formed by the Knights of Malta. Is that right?
I have not come across that, but I would not be surprised at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned so much. It's such like an underground history that you get little bits and pieces of it here and there. But they're involved in a lot of stuff, a lot of wars, a lot of conflicts, especially leading up to kind of the present day. They're like Himmler's a Knight of Malta, so he's on the Nazis, right?
Yeah.
And this guy who's a kind of an infamous spy, his name was Galen, was a Nazi who was a Knight of Malta and kind of associated with Alan Dulles, another Knight of Malta. So it's really strange. These are very powerful people, by the way. The whole Galen operation was allegedly fused into Western intel because Galen had contacts within the Soviet Union that the West wanted to exploit. And so that was kind of his ticket, his card to surviving, the court or getting his head, chopped off or whatever, getting hung. So he survived. He was one of the survivors because he had an asset, much like Werner von Braun, some of these other paper-clipped people. But you can't take that Knight of Malta aspect away from him. It's really important. So that's one piece of history. Napoleon sacked Malta in 1798. He let him live. You talked about Don Carlos. He was kind of the person who granted the Knights of Malta, the Maltese Islands, and just goes back into history. Yeah.
Yes, deeply rooted. And Franz von Papen, he brought Hitler to power in 1933, I think he was a Knights of Malta member as well.
Correct. That's
Yeah.
my understanding. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Another conservative, like if you understand, Hitler was fighting, the Nazis are fighting against the left in Germany, and then came up with the other conservative kind of landed estates. The Nazis were kind of like the aggressive middle class, maybe. The only one person who was, there was only one guy who was really kind of from the aristocracy of Germany, but they were kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the conservatives, so to speak. And von Sprappen came in, and then Hitler punked him and took over his position and became dictator. Yeah.
wow. Yeah.
Which is another story. But he's right there in the thick of it. Right there as the Nazis came to real power, like total power, Hitler, total power in 1933.
So they're responsible for quite a few, like you say, wars, and you got to wonder maybe if some of the Project Paperclip guys weren't part of this too. I guess we won't know, but just a lot of powerful world events, and then we can get into Trump's cabinet here, but maybe you should go through some of your slides and stuff too.
Yeah.
I don't know
Another
how you want to.
important figure is the Mr. Global Reset himself, King Charles III.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So let's not forget him.
Yeah.
And all his friends, like these guys, the royalties kind of stick together, the elite and stuff like that. And
yeah, and they're all members. Yep.
They say the new world order is the old world order. I think that's a famous writer said that. I forgot his name. Anyway, if you're watching these slides on Rockfin, Rumble, and X, you'll see this is the cross of Malta.
And this will be on my Rumble channel as well, guys.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so let's get that up. We'll get that uploaded.
Yeah.
It means it had some symbol. Oh, I think it's in the slides where it defines it. The 8th star means loyalty, piety, honesty, courage, honor, and glory, contempt for death, solidarity towards the poor and the sick, and respect for the church. So, and you'll see, I mean, like you said, this red and white motif, it's all over the place. You see, look in this picture, it shows.
Look at Hitler, the Nazi symbols. Yeah. City of London, Switzerland, absolutely everywhere. Yeah.
Vatican militia, Knights Templar, Nazi, Bank of International Settlements is red and white. That's kind of disturbing. This is a kind of a small list of the Knights of Malta, and it includes Prescott Bush Jr., right? So that's him. But some of these other guys are all over the kind of right here. William Buckley. Casey was a known Catholic, head of the CIA, went to church every day. Knight of Malta infamously said, "We know our work will be done when everything the American public believes is wrong," or something.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wild Bill Donovan. So it's all intel too. Wild Bill Donovan, Alan Dulles, and then
Hoover.
Yeah, Hoover, Luce, who ran Time Life, who ended up buying the what is it? The film of JFK getting his head blown off. Haig, Alexander Haig. Grace was a huge American industrialist. Father Flanagan was a known Catholic kind of priest who was important in the U.S.
Habsburgs are big.
Sinatra.
Yeah.
And then some of these names that we don't. Tip O'Neill was the Speaker of the House for a long time in the U.S., but some of these names are like royalty names from Europe. That Bonaparte is like definitely a relative of Napoleon, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So James Jesus Angleton is in the news with his JFK files. He was the CIA counter intel guy. So anyway, it's just these. That's the initial. The list hasn't been complete, but here's the social organization of the Knights of Malta, and you see that it's not directly underneath the pontiff. It's not under Bergoglio. It's sovereign. So you see the order, and you're explaining these different groups within there, and this is it. So like, there's a Grand Commander, Grand Chancellor, Hospitaller, Receiver of the Common Treasure, and then like international diplomatics and cardinals can be part of it too, right? And we'll see in it. I don't know if you know Steve Bannon that much at all, but like he was associated with a Cardinal Burke, who was a Knight of Malta, and they were in kind of a educational business together, and he's a cardinal as well. So like you see this overlap. And also, if you remember Trump, he's always at this charity meeting. I don't know if you remember when he insulted Hillary Clinton and said she'd be in jail. Remember that
Yeah.
insult? He's sitting there with this guy, Cardinal Dolan, who's a Knight of Malta. So they don't ever have that sign like, I'm a Knight of Malta. I'm just a Cardinal, but he was a Knight of Malta too. I found that outlet recently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's sitting right there. So like I said, clandestine, they're not like advertising.
No.
You mentioned, I think this is Emperor Charles. This is Charles V. This is the original deed of donation of the 3 islands of Malta, and that's in 1530. Mm-hmm. And what he wanted in return was a Maltese falcon. He was into falconry, and that Maltese falcon actually that they're supposed to grant every year has kind of bled into common culture with the film Maltese Falcon.
Right, with Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah, Humphrey Bogart. Yeah, really great film.
Yeah.
It's about the Malta, so it goes back to Malta, so people know that. This is one of the buildings in Malta. It's supposed to be like a receiving building or something like that.
Yeah.
The government meeting area. Same cross. You see the same motif. Red and white. The Queen, right? Before Charles III, Queen Elizabeth. Clearly a dame, and with that Maltese cross.
It's huge. She's not trying to hide that.
No, she's not. So and that's what they wear. So they don't wear the red and white. It's the kind of dark blue or black and white. This is the infamous Ghislaine Maxwell with the ambassador to Malta, right? So she's around. Gladio. A lot of this Gladio stuff involves the Knights of Malta too.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yep.
So it's all intel and like parapolitics too. It's like you could call it a parapolitical organization. I think that's fair. And I don't know who the guy on the right is, but everybody knows the guy on the left from South Africa, right?
Yeah, Mandela. And
Mandela's a Knight of Malta. So that kind of puts a different kind of spin on things. When
yes,
these guys are part of these secret societies. Much like finding out that Gandhi was a lawyer for the chapel at the city of the tower. I mean, the center of the city of London. Like he was a known asset. That means that here we would make affiliation to each individual state, but in London you cannot be a lawyer without making a loyalty oath to the Queen. It's part of the royalty. So Gandhi was part of that royal structure, that aristocratic structure before he became anything involved in India, and it puts a completely spin on it, completely different.
Wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Huh.
I didn't either. But it shows like this private diplomacy. So in public, we're always thinking, well, what is the Secretary of State doing? These guys have this private connections that aren't disclosed.
Yeah.
Possession of the Isle of Malta. This is an old painting from 1530 or something like that. And you see all the Maltese cross in red. So you see that history. This is 500 years old. Overlaps. This is Darren, who's a great researcher on Twitter. But just showing the overlap of the Anglo-American establishment and all these other orders. Some we know, some we don't. But I mentioned
Shriners. Yeah.
Masonic.
DMLA. Wow. Yeah.
Knights of the Garter. The Cirque is part of it too. Some of these guys are overlapped with Bilderberg. This is a picture of David Rockefeller. But Le Cirque is a whole nother show. But it's really, I mean, when the left says like fascists and stuff like that, like this is literal fascism, like fascist powers. It really exists.
So were the Rockefellers or the Rothschilds known to be involved with these guys?
Yes, good question. So I have a picture of one of the original Rothschilds with the Knight of Maltese cross on the red. We'll see that in the slides.
Okay.
Depending how much time we have.
We're fine.
I've got 3 sets of slides now. I added a new set for this show. Yeah. So I have to go back through and reorganize all my slides in a huge slide presentation. But anyway, this is a guy, Otto von Habsburg. If you're familiar with European history, Habsburg's a big name. Mm-hmm. It was at the like in Austria, Vienna, and all this stuff. He was the guy. Knight of Malta, Opus Dei overlaps. Opus Dei is another loyalist Catholic organization, but they're involved in creating the EU, or this pan-European movement. After the 2 world wars, they're like, we got to figure out a way to not have this happen again. So a lot of these elites are like, well, let's do this. I mentioned Reinhard Galen earlier. This is him. And he has that very distinctive cross right there on red, right? White on red. Like he is a knight.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. Top Nazi intelligence commander Reinhard Galen had a lot to do with the creation of East Germany's FIS, the CIA, and the Mossad. See him here wearing his Vatican Knight of Malta medal for service to the papacy. All roads have always led to Rome, not the Jews that top all.
Absolutely, because the Jews are just the bankers for the
For the
real
elite,
elites. Yeah,
yeah, for the landed aristocracy, they were always the bankers. That's where the Rothschild started off. They really
yeah.
were the bankers, yeah. So, and
Yeah,
the
that's
other,
why I have a problem with people that are just like, it's just the Jews, it's the Jews. Like, well, yeah, you know, they're part of it, but not. You're not looking at this picture.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
people supporting Israel. Find a lot of people supporting Israel, not support for Zionism, is these types of characters because they
yeah,
have a Christian interest in the Holy Land. So it's
exactly.
pretty heady. Like the Jews are mixing with Knights of Malta, and they have similar aims. I think the Knights of Malta really, if you called it an anti-Muslim group, I think that would be accurate because they've been fighting against the Muslims for 1,000 years.
Right. The Ottoman Empire kicked them out of Jerusalem, right? And then, like you said, they went to Cyprus. So that's a
Kicked out of there, yeah. Kicked out of
deeply.
then Rhodes, and then like the whole pirate. We'll see this thing, that whole skull and crossbones. I've heard this. I haven't verified it, but the skull and crossbones that is associated with piracy in the New World came from the Old World, from the Knights of Malta, who used it to as a scare towards the Muslims because they were involved in Mediterranean piracy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, it's really amazing. There's Reinhard Gallants. Yeah, there's a picture of the 3 islands. Really, there's one major island and one kind of medium size and a very small one.
Yeah, yeah. The smallest one there, I think, has like 200 people that live on it. It's really small, but
This isn't very big either. I think it's only 4 or 5 miles across, or 10
yeah,
miles.
it's not big. You can see the whole thing and go over to Gozo and see that. It's see, when I went there, I was, you know, filming the documentary and looking at the really ancient sites there, and it is interesting how the orders like this go to these ancient places and take over. I mean, you can look at all the crusades in South America, you know, all the Mexico and all that. They took over and possibly took some information and I think hid it and put it in. Well, I mean, we could look at the Vatican Library for that, you know. But
Right.
yeah,
I bet it's just a gold mine of information.
oh
But
yeah,
yeah.
if you could read it.
Well, good point. Good point.
Yeah.
But this, for people who don't know kind of the geography, it's right underneath Sicily. So into the kind of east of Tunisia. That's where this is.
Yeah.
And you see how beautiful it is, like beautiful see-through water, turquoise, old castles everywhere and walkways, and you know, it really takes you back. This is the fortress of St. John the Baptist. But this is like the core, at the very core of Valletta. You might have walked by here. I don't know if you went into it.
No, I didn't go in there.
But this is the floor of St. John's Co-Cathedral in Valletta, Malta. 400 tombstones of knights and officers of order of St. John of Jerusalem. Do you want to watch a movie? I got a movie for it. Let me see if I can bring that up.
Okay. Yeah, no, I wish I would have gone in there. I think our time was limited. And I was looking at other things. Now I kind of wish I would have really gone in there. Damn.
Oh, St. John.
Yeah.
St. John. I mean, you could walk right by it. I've seen an outside picture of it, and you just like, oh, it's another church. But
Yeah.
I think when you get inside there, let's see if I can get this to play.
Yeah, it's
when you get inside there, it's pretty amazing. Yeah,
the place is kind of a maze.
Are you getting the audio from that?
Yeah, we got it here. Yeah, I think I remember being right here. I just didn't go in.
St. John's Co-Cathedral is a gem of Baroque art and architecture. It is still an important shrine and a sacred place of worship. The construction was commissioned in 1572 by Grand Master Jean de la Cassière to serve as the traditional church of the Knights
See the Maltese cross on the top?
Yep, right on the
of
top.
Malta, and designed by the Maltese architect Gerolamo Casa. The co-cathedral is impressive from the outside, but the facade gives you no indication of what is inside.
That's an interesting motif there, the double-headed eagle, right over the white and red. You
Oh
see that
yeah,
on the wall there,
yeah.
with the crown.
It's easy to miss that. That's just so detailed in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
the double-headed eagle.
Yeah.
It is one of the most ornate and spectacular Baroque buildings you ever did see. The entire floor of the nave, chapels, and the oratory are covered with tombstones. They commemorate some of the most illustrious knights of the order.
Another prominent Maltese cross right there at the front.
Yeah.
The ceiling is decorated with 18 panels depicting the life of Saint John. As you go round the cathedral, you will also see 12 richly decorated side chapels. Many of the Grand Masters of the Order of St. John are interred here. There is a lot of fabulous artwork, the most famous painting being Caravaggio's The Beheading of St. John.
Caravaggio is the Renaissance painter, also a Knight of Malta. A known Knight of Malta.
Yeah, these places creep me out.
Allow at
It's a lot of history. It's pretty wild. Like, this is an amazing place. Yeah.
least a couple of hours to explore. The cathedral closes at 2:30 p.m. It is closed on Sundays. For children under 12 it is free when accompanied by an adult. The entrance fees and opening hours might be changed by time, so please check out the cathedral's website before your visit. The link can be found in the description down below. This is a place of worship. Please enter decently dressed. Stiletto and narrow heels are not allowed. Slippers can be bought at the entrance. Photography is allowed, but the use of flash or tripods is not permitted in the church. The entrance fee includes the provision.
Well, I don't need her to talk.
Yeah. You know, these places do creep me out, though. Like, so when I went in on the biggest church in Gozo, I don't know, just like the vibe in general. Like, if I was a little kid and I went in there, I'd be scared. Like the pictures of Mother Mary with their eyes rolled to the side, and the tombs, like they they put their the priests in the tombs right up at the altar there. That's kind of creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, they're part mausoleum, right? I mean, I think that's fair. But you see the motifs on the wall, all red and white flags and crosses and stuff like that. So total full Knight of Malta. But it really, when you see that video, kind of gives life to this. But if you see some of these tombstones, you'll see that skull and crossbone that I was mentioning. You see that on the bottom left here. But when you get it from the top, it's like, wow, look at how many dead knights there are in there, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe Eric Prince will end up dead in there. Like maybe he'll be buried in there. Who else is buried? I wonder if anybody from the West that isn't disclosed is buried in this church. You know?
No, that would be very interesting to know.
Yeah, sure would.
Yeah. So, would you say like that these guys are obviously like the whole Catholic church and just the Knights of Malta and all this, the Jesuits are just dark occultists in disguise? Or do you think that some of them actually believe in Christianity and actually consider themselves Christians? Like, or is this just a front?
It's a good question. I think that it started out as a Christian, like the Templars supposedly brought back a lot of Middle Eastern dark magic. Like they brought back the Baphomet, supposedly.
Oh,
yeah. So I think that these guys started Christian for sure, but they've either been infiltrated or it's morphed into kind of like aristocratic, secret society / club, like we're in it, you're out. Because it has members who are clearly dark, like Jimmy Savile's in here. Like this guy is having sex with dead bodies and raping like hundreds of kids. Like we don't even know how many, and possibly friends with the Yorkshire Ripper. Like really dark. Like he was a beast. Like Crowley. Yeah,
he was horrible.
What's he doing with this Christian organization? You'll see a picture of him later in my slides. He's chatting with the Pope. Like he's literally Like this is I mean, according to Catholic tradition, the most holy person on earth and sitting in the place of like Peter or Christ is the Pope, right? The Holy See. So what's Savile doing in here? What's Alan Dulles, who's a very dark person?
Or even Prince or
Prince
King Charles III. I mean, what is he doing? He's all pushing the UN's sustainable development goals. Like they're basically bringing in revelation, you know?
Yeah.
So,
right.
yeah. Wow.
And so I think it's they're not all occultists. I think that there really are Christians, but I think that they may, you know, they may not be as adherent as they should be. See the skull and crossbones involved here too, just for example.
Yeah, and that would be skull and bones symbol exactly, really. So.
Right too. So which is a piracy symbol, which maybe it comes through this. I don't know.
Yeah.
See the red and white motif, the skulls, you know, it's just like this is like they showed this is the Caravaggio, St. John being beheaded, priceless in this one of these side naves of that church, St. John's. I mean, look at how beautiful the ornamenture is just off the charts, like the loving kind of thing. This is Titian, another Renaissance artist, painting of a Knight of Malta. So you'll see him pointing at his Maltese cross, and I think he also has something on his jewelry on his necklace is also Maltese.
Yeah.
So that's what they look like 500 years ago. Sammy Davis Jr., Maltese cross. There he is. And a Satanist too. That's another. I mean, add like how many Satanists are involved in this group?
Right.
If I was a Christian, I wouldn't let this guy in my group.
No way.
Like, honestly, I know he's a Satanist. I know he's friends with LaVey and Aquino.
Right.
Like this isn't kind of like a casual Satanist. I'm sorry.
No.
The Maltese cross motif is in this Resident Evil movie too, so it's kind of bled into common culture, which is like I think they're zombies or something like that. I haven't seen the movie.
I haven't seen that. No.
This is kind of an interesting tie over. We were talking about people who could be a Knight of Malta and something else. This is a perfect example. Patrick E. Kelly, Supreme Knight, the head of the Knights of Columbus, another Catholic organization. He's also getting admitted to the Knight of Malta in that church, right? You'll see that's St. John baptizing Jesus Christ, right? So that's, if you remember in the New Testament where St. John says, I should be the one baptizing you, and Christ says, you must baptize me to fulfill all righteousness or something like that. I forgot what it is.
So does the Catholic Church consider St. John the Baptist more of a saint and over John the disciple? The apostle?
Yes, I don't know. It's a good question, but he's clearly here. He's referenced as a saint.
Mm-hmm.
He's perceived as a saint.
Yeah.
But this is Patrick Kelly. Really, and a lot of these guys provide their CVs and stuff online. So it's just interesting to see these guys. And the power of the Knights of Columbus is something else. They have a huge life insurance policy, a program for their members that has $109 billion in like reserves, you know, because how a life insurance policy is basically a pooling of funds that then get paid out over time. I don't know if you know how that works, but that's what they take those funds and then invest them in corporations and kind of sway markets and stuff like that.
Knights of Columbus, yeah.
Yeah, Knights of Columbus. This is a 16th century painting of the Knights of Malta. You'll see the distinctive knights there. So the history's there. This is the current head. His name is, I forgot, but that was like, we saw those pictures of Kelly getting initiated.
Mm-hmm.
This is him. But what he's doing with his hand sign, that's a sign of initiation that's bled into the occult. So when he's putting that hand gesture to you, he's saying, I've been initiated. I don't know what he's been initiated as, but he's an initiate of something maybe than just the Knights of Malta.
He's the Grand Master currently.
Correct. That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's the first Canadian. I wish I could remember his name. John Dunlap. So, and here's the other thing. This is like certain things are disclosed about this group. You can go on Twitter. They have a Knight Order of Malta. Like it's really, and they have websites you can check out, but they don't give out their full membership lists and stuff like that. Yeah. But you'll see it's kind of interesting to read the kind of like people following. You see how international it is. Serbians and Italians and clearly Irish people or people from the Irish diaspora or something.
Yeah.
But
I wonder what the initiation really is, though, you know, behind closed doors.
I don't know. There was one guy, I forgot what his name was. He was a Jesuit priest. He wrote a book called The Windswept House, but it was about the infiltration of the Catholic Church by like Luciferians or Masons. And I think it's kind of been a recurring thing among traditional Catholics is the concern that they're being infiltrated.
Right.
So there he is on the Dunlap on the left. These guys are all Knights of Malta in that same little church, that part of the church having a service. There's also mimic orders, so it's hard to you want to make sure you have the right order because there's fake Knights of Malta. There's fake Knights of like Catholic rip-off orders are all over the place.
Right.
So it's just something on their website to like watch out because if they don't have this kind of, the right initiatory contracts or whatever, they're not one of us. And then I think you mentioned Juan Carlos. This is known members. I just asked Grok who else is famous.
Mm-hmm.
Dunlap, Bosliger, Carlos I of Spain, Prince Charles, who's now King Charles. Andrew Bertie, who's like up for sainthood. He was the 78th Prince Grand Master of the Order, but he's up for sainthood now. And then other spooks like Dulles, Casey, and Donovan, all member of the Knights of Malta. And these guys, you could do a show on each one of them.
Yeah, you could. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, William Casey. And that quote you said earlier about soon, everything in the American public believes is a lie. And I think we're there. I think we're now there. They've gotten to that point where
I think
he was
right.
talking about. Yeah.
I think they're right. It's very sinister.
Yeah.
This is the Knights of Malta coming up on some kind of thing at the St. Peter's Cathedral in Rome. So you see this Rome. I mean, look how impressive this whole place is, like incredible. But that's the St. Peter's Basilica. But it's just interesting. I think that guy on the right, I haven't confirmed it, but I'm pretty sure he was a former Secretary of Defense under Trump. But Ensler, I think was his name, but I'm pretty sure that's him as a Knight of Malta. I'd be interested to see people take these pictures and try to place the name to these people because they're probably all have distinguished backgrounds, is my guess.
I would say so.
Just to get into this, either family background or something.
Yeah, we were talking pre-show about when did the Catholic Church took over Christianity, and you talked about Luciferians and getting involved, and it's like just how it formed when Christianity. You look at teachings of Jesus, and you look at what the Catholic Church is. It's like totally just about the opposite. It's just like big cathedrals and nothing grassroots about it. It's totally like Gothic and yeah, it seems like it got taken over pretty early, if not when it formed, maybe.
And they're the kingmakers. Like they made the kings, they support the kings, and they're significant on the Western Europe, after the kind of schism of 1066. They're the ones who like hold everything, the Holy Roman Empire, if you remember that, Charlemagne, like being a Catholic was just part of Western power. So not at least, really till recently, like it's really a core crux. There's the Pope Bergoglio wearing this whole thing, this Knights of Malta cross. This is just a graph overlapping all these guys. Maurice Strong, Rockefeller, Kofi Annan, they're all Knights of Malta overlapping with the United Nations and the Trilateral Commission. So
oh yeah, there's plenty of overlaps. Yeah,
it's just like crazy. So this is a guy really important. This is like a heavy duty guy, the Heritage Foundation. He's been its head, a think tank, conservative since 1973. Edwin Fulner, Knights of Malta, and Knight of the Holy Sepulchre, which a lot of people don't know about, which is kind of like a military. The Knights of Malta is supposed to be like a service organization, but there's actually a military arm.
Yeah, they're called a military order.
If you military order, that's right, the Knights of the Holy Sepulchre. So he's incredible. He's really linked in, and I don't know if you know of this 2025 agenda. Have you heard of that?
No, not really. We talked about on your show 2025, the golden era, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, they have this. Conservatives have their own booklet, the 2025 agenda, and the left is like all worked up about it. But it's their agenda. This guy's the guy who like supported a lot of those people, the Heritage Foundation, and then he wrote the kind of conclusion to the 2025 report. So he's very much involved in
It's
this
the Knight
whole
of Malta.
group. Yeah, Knight of Malta. I was talking earlier about the tribute of the Maltese Falcon. That's what a Maltese Falcon looks like. And this is the text of the grant that I showed earlier. But, it's the Reverend Grand Master of the Religion and Order of St. John of Jerusalem. And then we talked about the Maltese Falcon, right? So this is like a direct tie to the Maltese Islands, Dashiell Hammett. I haven't read the book. I've seen the movie like 10 times. Great movie.
Yeah.
Maltese cross motif and like the whole Yale secret society network. This is the St. Elmo's.
There's a connection.
Then there was a kerfluffle, like this battle between Seymour Hersh is like one of the most famous journalists out there, but he had a he headbutted with some guys who were part of the Knights of Malta that were involved in the Iraqi war. And it says there was something that went down in 2011 in Qatar where Hersh alleged that General Stanley McChrystal and Admiral William McRaven were members of the Knights of Malta, and many in the Joint Special Operations Command were either members or supporters and also overlap with the Opus Dei. And so then he said, like, this is a large, you have a crusader mentality. And he quoted one individual as saying, we're going to change mosques into cathedrals. That's an attitude that pervades, I'm here to say, a large percentage of the Joint Special Operations Command.
Wow.
So, although McChrystal denied being a member of the Knights of Malta, but who knows what that is.
So they really do hate the Muslims. It's
I think it is. I think it's like a part of the thing is like the Muslims are the infidels or whatever. And the other way around. I mean, there's a lot of Muslim Christian stuff going on.
Yeah.
Eric Prince, Blackwater, Knight of Malta tradition. He had literally talked about it on Russia Today. So, and he's still a thinker. Other lists of Knights of Malta: Murdoch, Haig, Leonard Leo, who's a Federalist Society conservative. They say Stanley McChrystal. This is another one. So he denied being a member. The other one I talked about earlier was Raymond Burke, Steve Bannon ally. You talked about Franz von Papen, Nazi criminal. He wasn't a Nazi, guys. That's actually not correct. He was a different part of it, like at the different part of the conservative movement in Germany. And then Jimmy Savile, who there's a whole nother show on that guy. He's a monster. I think that guy on the far right here is the dude who's the Secretary of Defense. So I haven't confirmed that. It looks just like him. But I could be wrong. But I'll show other pictures. Like, it's hard to say it's not him. Like, wow. This is Burke. He's making that I'm initiated sign. Like, that's not a mistake. That's the guy tied to Bannon through the Dignitatis Humanae Institute. I think Bannon's Catholic. He's Irish Catholic. That's my understanding. The group has ties to some most conservative factions inside the Catholic Church. In 2014, the Institute invited Steve Bannon as one of its keynote speakers at a conference to discuss poverty, during which he praised European far-right parties. Bannon had helped the Institute craft curricula. So, and Burke was the head of the board, so they had to have known each other. So that's a tie.
What?
Alina Habba, this is like counselor to the president.
Again, Rupert Murdoch again. Yeah.
I can show her recently. Where is she? Let's see. That's why I got a Burke video here. I can pull up this guy. Let's see if I can pull that up.
Yeah, so this current presidency is
Amy
like
Burke
we
has
talked
come
about at
out
the beginning
saying
of the show.
Pope Francis is persecuting.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Oh, yeah, no, this current presidency, like we said at the beginning of the show, is definitely surrounded by these members. So we'll get into that in a minute. Go ahead and play the video.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Cardinal Raymond Burke has come out saying Pope Francis is persecuting the Catholic Church because of Traditionis Custodes, which is a document that Pope Francis released restricting access to the Latin Mass. Burke questions the authority of Traditionis Custodes and whether or not bishops actually have to obey it. No stranger to questioning the magisterium, Burke has said over 5 documents of the Pope's magisterium are not actually magisterial. He has also supported work saying that the Church might actually cease to exist if it continues to go in the direction that it's currently going. But what do you think? Do you think Pope Francis is persecuting?
So that's Burke. That's just an interesting. I mean, this is recent stuff. Like, this is like crazy recent. Here's another. Let me pull up Alina Habba so people can see her. But she's here with the current. She's in red, by the way. But she's here with the current head of the FBI, amongst others, in the Trump administration. Watch this.
I want to say something different and
Oh,
share
wow.
a story that I've never told. Cash is my brother. I could cry. I'm not allowed to cry. I'm supposed to be a tough chick. I take it. So Cash is my brother. We always say we're brother and sister. We have gone through a lot together. In fact, we went to a grand jury, and one of the pictures they put up was me and Cash, and I started laughing hysterically, and so did he. And I remember saying, "You're right. That's my friend. Do you have a problem with it?" The reality of the situation is, when I started here and I started in this world, I did not know anything about it. Cash had my back. I could cry, but I'm so proud of you. That's all I want to say. The president is proud of you. I'm proud of you.
And then she's got the white tablecloth behind her. I don't know if that's an accident. I don't think so. The red and the white. Yeah.
I don't know either, but it's pretty interesting. I can't remember which of his cases she was involved in, but she's on TV a lot. I don't watch TV anymore.
No,
this is her dad. Yeah, good. This is her dad. He's a cool guy, Saad F. Haba, but he's part of the Middle Eastern kind of Catholic community. Like, it's not all Muslim. It's run by the Muslims, but he's known as a Chaldean Catholic. So it's just one of those Middle Eastern. That's her. I forgot what this girl. This was the former spokesman for Trump. What's her name? Somebody's got to know that. Shoot, that. But that's her. Those two together. That girl on the right looks familiar to you, right?
Let me zoom in. I can't see her very well. Let's see. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
This is I forgot her name. This is her dad. This is Alina Haba's dad with the Knight of Malta. So he's getting initiated or something's going on. Invested. I don't know what they call it in the Catholic Church. But he's on their site. Chancellor Saad F. Haba, MD, GCMOB. Governance of the American Association. So he's a governor.
Wow.
So she's definitely involved in all that. There's Saad. There she is. She's friends with Cash, hanging out together. There's Eric Prince, Knight of Malta. This is when they had the assassination kind of hearing.
Oh, okay.
Prince was involved in. But Gino is second in command, I guess, at FBI now. So this was, I forgot what date, August of 2024, which they stonewalled these guys to get the information. It's crazy.
Is there any indication that Trump's a Knight of Malta? I mean,
that's a good question. I don't know. He could be. He could be. Somebody said that the head of his, and we'll see this in the later slides, that of his law firm, a guy by the name of Bolan or Bolan, Knight of Malta. He's trusted people close to him who are Knights of Malta. And Prince is very well social, like his social ties are all kind of Knight of Malta or secret society stuff going way back. So pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when Trump talks a lot, I don't think it's an accident, but he always puts his fingers in an upside down triangle. You've probably seen that.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
I don't know if that's anything related to Knights of Malta, but it's curious. That's all.
I don't know some of these signs, but I did post today on my X on social media that he had a shaking hands with Gul Netanyahu, and he had his finger out. There's like a handshaking where you put your finger out. I can't do it online, but you basically tap the inside of somebody's wrist while you're shaking their hand. So it's not like this, but you go like this.
So it's not a Freemason handshake.
No, it is a Freemason. Oh. This is the Freemason handshake.
Oh,
I think if I normally shook somebody's hand, I would do it like that. Right?
Yeah.
But they're doing. Let me see if I can find it. They're doing a Freemason. I think Trump is giving him a Freemason handshake, giving Netanyahu. Yeah. Anyway, Erica, he's all over. He was on this guy Sean Ryan shows, like spook, like a total glowy, crazy Fed, vibes. Yeah. There's Hirsch, like I was talking about him earlier, with this whole, talking about these guys. And then a secondary order that I've never heard about until I started researching the Knights of Malta is the Knights of the Holy Sepulchre. So,
yeah, I don't know anything about them. No. Huh.
Its mission is to support the Christian presence in the Holy Land. So they are knighthood under the protection of the Holy See. So that's Fulner, the guy who's head of the Heritage Foundation. And you'll see this, this is him. And right on his CV, right on his resume, he is a Knight of Malta and a Knight of the Holy Sepulchre. So, that's it. I mentioned Dolan earlier, so he's around Trump, but he's talking about the Knights of Malta online. This wasn't that long ago, November 2024. He's a Knight of Malta too, but he doesn't say it in this video. I have to get it. I should download this video. So these guys talk about it. Like if you're keyed in or whatever, if it's on your mind, you'll notice these things. Like you'll see it.
Are there some notable things in history the Knights of Malta have done that are pretty nefarious? I mean, we can talk about Jimmy Salvo, who's a member who's nefarious, but like, are there any things they've done as a group that strikes a chord that's nefarious?
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like what comes to mind when you say that is I remember the death of Diana, right? King Charles, current King
Right.
Charles.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so weird. Like people died around that. Like there were mysterious deaths, and there was also the Vatican bank scandal where people died mysteriously. And sometimes I think like maybe some of these secret groups, they're informed like we got to get rid of this dude, and we don't have any connection to each other, so this is going to be the perfect crime, right? Because nobody knows we're Knights of Malta. Because when she died in Paris, France, if you remember that. And she said they're going to stage my death in an auto accident. Like she kind of knew what was coming. And her driver died or something like weird like happened. But
there's a bunch of symbology of where she died in a tunnel.
She was a real problem to the royalty. She knew it and she just didn't shut up. She should have just gone to the United States and just got away from her or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird. Like,
yeah.
That's a whole nother story. Oliver North, all in the news, sovereign.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I didn't know he was.
According to this, Hedgeth has this big tattoo, right? So this is either the Knights of Jerusalem. This is an overlapping one. This is actually, believe it or not, became an issue of in Congress. They were asking it like somebody wouldn't let him take part in one of the Biden things because of this tattoo that he has, which is the Jerusalem cross, right? It's called the Jerusalem cross. Watch this video.
Okay.
This is the guy, Department of Defense. They're saying that they haven't cut back the Department of Defense. They say that its budget will be $1 trillion this year. This guy's 42 years old or something like that. Young.
Jeez, he's young.
He's running, and has this. These are very distinctive Christian tattoos. Watch this.
Yes.
Duisvold is another one too. We
tried to label him as an extremist. Pete Hegseth stepped in and explained his faith in the best way possible.
You'd mentioned that you were not able to serve with your National Guard unit in the protection of the inauguration of Joe Biden because of a tattoo, a Christian tattoo. Can you elaborate just a little bit on what is this very offensive, extremist, racist tattoo that you have?
It's a tattoo I have right here, Senator. It's called the Jerusalem Cross. It's a historic Christian symbol. I attended briefly the memorial ceremony of former President Jimmy Carter on the floor of our National Cathedral. On the front page of his program was the very same Jerusalem cross. It is a Christian religious symbol. And when the events happened before preceding the Biden inauguration, I was a part of the mobilization to defend that inauguration. As someone who'd been a proud supporter of Donald Trump, but also a member of the military, had orders to come to Washington, D.C. to guard that inauguration. And at the last minute, those orders were revoked. I'd never had orders revoked before. I'd been on orders to a lot of places to do a lot of difficult and dangerous things. They were revoked and I was not told why.
And so the red and white again too. So
good point. Right, good point. I mean, you kind of wonder what this is recent because he's mentioning the inauguration of, the memorial for Carter, which was under the same Jerusalem cross. Right. That was January 9th, 2025. So this like little video right here is very recent. And you see how they like the left really tries to poison it like you're a racist or whatever.
They don't know anything.
No. It's just like they're trying to, give him a hard time. This is John Roberts. This guy's in the news too. Like these guys are all compromised. Something weird's going on. But this is him in front. I think it's in Italy, of an outpost of the Knights of Malta.
Oh yeah,
see that in the background. This is not chopped. This is not chopped. This is another kind of famous conservative pundit. Knights Templar, so he's a sovereign military order of the Temple of Jerusalem. It's different than it's different than the Knights of Malta. Same red and white motif, but interesting that, African American guy.
Yeah.
But he's, I think he was in the military and considered to be kind of a conservative pundit. Not sure.
He's dressed up, that's for sure.
Got his cape. Yeah.
Yeah.
Knights of Malta had a small air force.
Wow.
King of Jerusalem. So here's the King of Jerusalem, Crusader state, and that's that Jerusalem cross right there, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a Crusader.
But it's so similar to the Maltese cross in a way. It's got the points. It's got 8 points if you look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does have 8 points. And this is the memorial for Carter, January 9th, 2025, same symbol. So you wonder what's Carter? Is Carter a member of all this stuff too? How many members are like, how many people in politics are like, they have this kind of clandestine membership?
I'd say a lot of them. Yeah.
850 years of the Order of Malta in Ireland. So like Ireland has like centuries old history. So, and they have churches and all this stuff. It's pretty crazy. That you can see this is a church on the bottom right. It has the Maltese cross. So you see, keep your eyes out for this. You'll see it.
Oh yeah.
I think this is the ambassador to the United Nations is this guy, Paul Beresford Hill, permanent observer of the Sovereign Order of Malta to the United Nations. So,
yeah,
permanent observer mission. And then I forgot why I put this in here. I think it was because Teal's involved, close friends with Prince, and he's a steering member of the building.
Yeah, he's in there, and that guy's I think to be watched, Peter Teal.
I agree. He's very. I mean, talk about a guy with an incredible network. Like he's tied in with all these guys, like Vance, the vice president, Prince, a lot of tech people, a lot of crypto people.
These Open AI, right?
Yeah, AI.
Yeah.
Palantir. So a lot of stuff that's going on in Gaza, like Palantir was part of the AI to target people. Like it's a high-tech slaughter zone, dude. Like something out of freaking the Terminator or something. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah. That's stuff I keep a close watch on there. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, if people think that, like, thank God it's happening over there. That's a testing zone. That's what they do. They're testing out new equipment and new techniques. And eventually it could be turned on you. Like they could just hit a button and automate the destruction of whole cities or selectively target people. Like that's how dark it gets. It's really scary. Trump was just bragging about yesterday or today about all the high-tech killing weapons that he have that nobody knows about. You know?
Well, like when I came on your show, like what did he do? The second day he's in, he signs the AI infrastructure bill, and that must have been really important. You know, what are they in a hurry to do here?
Right. What was the name of it again? It was some kind of. It was like something from like
Stargate.
Stargate. That's right.
Yeah, and then of course you got what's his name, Larry Ellison involved.
Right, some creepy guys. Peter Thiel, major U.S. political donor, is said to pursue Maltese citizenship. So he wants his third thing. Tied to Trump. Prince is advising Trump from the shadows. That's 2017. And then you talk about the Club of Rome. Like some of these guys are really creepy.
Oh yeah.
This is a famous kind of actor. His name is Fairbanks. Thought of himself as a knight. You see that weird cross. I think it's a Maltese cross or a cross of Jerusalem. Vaguely, it's very faint around.
Oh yeah, it's hard to see that. Okay, yeah. Yep.
But I think he's called himself a knight. I think that's important. And here he is dancing at a Night of Malta ball in Palm Beach.
Oh yeah.
With all the luminaries. It's kind of interesting. Like there he is with his Maltese cross. Some of these faces look familiar. I don't know who they are, but it's like I feel like the guy on the left is somebody that I've seen before.
Same here. Yeah.
It's the same thing that happens with these Maltese. They just don't have a sign around. So there's Fairbanks with Grace Kelly and Nancy Reagan.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Just like a interesting thing. He's got his Maltese cross. It's right around his waist if you see it. I don't know if he's wearing one. It's not a great picture, but he was definitely a knight of the British Empire. So, Order of the St. John of Jerusalem. So it's a Jerusalem cross. but he's got his Maltese cross on there too. Yeah. And then this is the Prince of Wales. So this is in a Maltese thing in 1933 in Wales. This is the kind of guy who had Nazi sympathizer. He was in Prince Edward, Prince of Wales, was supposed to be king, but he had that weird Nazi sympathizer, and then he had an American girlfriend, and then he was passed over for his brother who became king. And
they're not trying to hide that symbol, are they? It's huge.
No, they really aren't. Cardinal William Baum with Rose Kennedy at a Knights of Malta ball, so the Kennedys know all the stuff too.
Yeah.
They have a museum in the city of London at the Clerkenwell Priory, so you can see the Knights of Malta history here. It's called the Museum of the Order of St. John. So you see the Maltese cross up on the upper left. So if you're in London, go check it out.
Yeah.
And the history of the order, all this stuff. And then it's kind of interesting. A lot of these people who support it, Wellcome Trust is kind of in the whole COVID thing, was a notorious kind of notoriously involved in all these foundations and things like that. Wolfson Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
Things like that. So kind of sus. This is actually in Jerusalem. This is the German part of the order. Johanniter Ordens Hospice and the Maltese Cross. So this is on the Via Dolorosa, which is supposedly the road Christ took on the way to the crucifixion.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
It's called the Via Dolorosa. And you mentioned Beatrix or somebody, didn't you, earlier
today?
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, she was on a list I had here. Yep.
Honorary commander of the Order of St. John of Jerusalem in a ceremony at the Knights Hall.
She's a dame.
And Bernard, the guy doing it, is a land commander of the same order. So the daughter and the dad or whoever. Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands. And you see all those guys in the background, a lot of them have Maltese crosses too.
Yeah, lots of European royalty. I mean, the list is big of all the royalty in Europe. And
yeah. I have another side document outside of my slides. We could go into that because it's a lot. I mean, it's just like every name that you have heard of, like Kaz Cosimo, something like, fancy names and stuff like that. I forgot who this is. Oh, this is about Alina Habba. So Trump is like, I'm pleased to announce that Alina Habba will join my White House. That's December 8th, 2024. Very recent. Knight of Malta. And this guy, Leo, is a Knight of Malta. He's very instrumental in getting conservative judges into positions of power in the United States. Knight of Malta. Devout Roman Catholic. Opus Dei. Knight of Malta.
Yeah.
And just to show kind of the international kind of angle of the Knight of Malta, I included this, that the Grand Master meets President Kabila in Kenya. So like they have influence all the way into Africa. Like I have another video we could show if you want.
Well, it makes sense to me that so when COVID happened, every nation pretty much was on the same page. There was hardly any resistance to all the lockdowns and stuff. And I always, it occurred to me how a world government could easily happen, because probably they have members of this order and other orders in these countries, even these smaller African countries, and then you had that African president die of Tanzania, who was, trying to resist the lockdowns and COVID,
Right. I think 3 heads of state in Africa died who weren't on board. Yeah. And I think you're right. You can show the global aspect of expression of power all over the world. This is just kind of an interesting video because this is a Knight of Malta talking to Trump's son, right? Donald Jr.
Wins the election in end of July by 70-30. Okay, really wins by 40 points. Yeah. And the Maduro regime, which is effectively a narco state, there's 34 major narcotic and meth production facilities in the country. They are
it's like petrometh. Basically, that's
exactly. Okay. Yeah. Really bad people, and exporting leftist communist money to all the other political parties all across the continent. There's sanctions. I'm glad they're tightening down on the nonsense of U.S. oil companies there. But it's ultimately going to have to be pushed out, and it doesn't require U.S. military. It can be covert action from the intelligence community or covert action from Venezuelan patriots helped by outsiders because ultimately the Maduro regime has to know that there are consequences to staying, and that's absolutely the U.S. It should be U.S. policy, because they're an absolute malign, extremely negative influence. Their military doesn't really believe them, or doesn't really support them. A few punches to the face and they will go. I trolled Maduro after they stole the election, and I said, if Biden and Harris actually want to support democracy in Venezuela, they should raise the bounties to $100 million each, sit back and watch the magic happen. Well, that led to a lot of people contacting me saying, please start a GoFundMe. We did that. It's called Yakazi Venezuela, which means almost there Venezuela. Raised some money for it. And I can assure you, my friends in Venezuela, things are in process to push the Maduro regime out. Look, Maduro is wanted, and the U.S. raised the bounty to $25 million. And I want the Maduro team to realize all the other people that have had $25 million bounties on them, what is their status today?
Not so good?
Not so good.
Yeah.
They're either 6 feet under or they're in the bottom of the Indian Ocean, like Osama bin Laden. So it's not going to end well. Leave now and let the Venezuelan people breathe free.
Unpack that.
Yeah. Now, who's the guy on the right?
That's
host?
Don Jr. That's Trump's son.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay. Sorry, I thought so. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
But look at that. So this is Eric Prince. Look at, he said leftist communists, right? They're involved in meth production, 34 meth labs. But he's talking about overthrowing Venezuela. This guy isn't a member of the government. He's not a member of the U.S. government, right?
Yeah.
So he's in his kind of role as whatever, a quasi Knight of Malta, right? This other group, this other entity.
Yeah.
Watch that. I mean, we could watch that again and unpack it. He's advising and telling people that they're going to overthrow Maduro, who probably stole the election, which is true because they've been stealing elections all over the place. But they're going to overthrow him in a bounty. Like, this is their kind of mentality. Like, wow, it's that video is really something else to me.
Yeah,
like,
I'm still processing it. Wow. Yeah.
So Oruro knighted to the Order of John for service, another African American guy, like literal guy from Africa. And then Knights of Templar, they're involved in all this other stuff. But that's my first set of slides.
Yeah, that's pretty revealing. I mean, so this Trump administration, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it a bit. Like, it feels like to me that it's sort of a changing of the guard happened here. It wasn't just like another globalist president coming in, another new world order puppet. There's something bigger to this. And I know a lot of us conspiracy research, or the crowd, let's just say, likes to put everything in a neat little basket and like simplify the picture and everything.
Right.
But I think there's a little more to this time. Like, there's a changing of the guard kind of feeling. I don't know if you've thought that too, but
I do. So, it's more aggressive and more global in things. Like, they're dealing with Iran, Russia, Middle East, China. Even this tariff thing is really a global reset kind of element. So I think that he's got more ambitious aims. So I think that, like, and the other people are in there. He doesn't have those old paleo Republicans, the old Republicans. He's got all kinds of new people.
Not the new neocons that we used to have. Right. Yeah. It used to be so much more easy to identify it all. Like 2004 election, two Skull and Bones members running against each other. But I don't know. This is something else. It almost feels like.
I feel like it is too. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. This is my second set of slides. And since I did my first set, this is February 17th, 2025. This is our Secretary of State in front of the Holy Sepulchre. So he's on a religious thing. He's on a journey to Israel. But I don't know what variant. I think those are different heads of different orders. I believe that's a Greek Orthodox and a Franciscan priest.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
And I don't know who the guy with the hat is right directly to Rubio's right, but I think this is a telling picture. Like, this is one of the most holy sites in Christendom.
Yeah, that would be very telling.
So this guy, I mean, what's he doing there with these? And there's so many other Christians in the Trump administration. So I think it's interesting.
It is. Yeah.
Place of the tomb of Jesus of Nazareth. Interesting picture. This is Alina Habba again. I mentioned her. Red dress. Likes the red a lot. Interesting.
She does.
She likes to dress up. This is also John Roberts is there at the inauguration. The night of Malta inaugurates the president of the United States, right?
Well, that's huge. Just that alone.
There he is, right there on the right.
Yep.
Pretty impressive. Monday, January 20th. Not that long ago. Almost
No.
at their 3 month mark. 3 months mark.
I know.
This is another kind of interesting from a Catholic perspective. This guy passed away. He was the past Supreme Knight of the Knights of Columbus, but held 16 honorary degrees and is named a Knight of the Sovereign Military Order of Malta, but also a Knight of St. Gregory the Great. I don't even know what that is. Knight Grand Cross of the Equestrian Order, Holy Sepulchre. That was like Fulner. Knight Grand Cross of the Order of Pius IX. Highest honor to the Catholic layman who's not a head of state. He was also serving as a consigliere to the Vatican City State. Like that's like from a mob. That's like a mob thing. Like so that's the whole thing is people think like the occult has influenced the Vatican or the Catholic Church or the mob. It's the other way around. The Catholic Church has influenced the mob and the occult, like the initiations and all that stuff. The modern occult got a lot of that ideas from Catholic or Orthodox church.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, this is just Knights of Columbus under restoration of the facade and statuary of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, which we saw these other Knights of Columbus. I think he's wearing a knight. I can't quite see it, but I'm pretty sure that's a Knight of Malta diadem around his neck, or whatever.
Yeah, I can't see it either, but I can't.
I see the red and white, so I mean, I have to get a better picture of that.
It almost looks like from here a 5-pointed star, but I need glasses, so
I don't know. This is another one. Somebody sent this to me. This is Haig, who's the Knight of Malta, was behind in green lighting the movie Red Dawn, which is a totally anti-communist movie, propaganda movie. I gotta watch it again. But if people know Red Dawn, it had like the Rat Pack, all these actors from the U.S. and it was about a communist invasion of the United States.
I don't
remember that.
I've heard of the name, but I can't remember. Maybe I've seen it.
Who are the actors?
Let me look at it.
It's Kevin Swayze or Peter Swayze, and I think,
is Sean Connery in it too?
I don't think so.
No. Oh no, I'm thinking of something else. Red Dawn. Okay. It has Charlie Sheen, Patrick Swayze, Thomas Howell, Lee Thompson. Yeah.
You had asked about the Rothschilds. This is one. I think this is Amschel Rothschild. What's he wearing?
Aha. There we go.
T's cross. Yes.
Yeah.
These are just people around kind of the right. Their dad is ostensibly or supposedly, well, I think he's confirmed he's associated with the Knights of Malta. Casey Means and Callie Means, they're all over the TV, which I don't watch anymore. So I don't know.
Tucker Carlson too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
This is really an incredible picture because this is Jimmy Savile wearing a Maltese cross, hanging out with the Pope.
Yeah, that's so telling, isn't it?
Incredible. Both smiling at each other. I'm pretty sure he's wearing a red. I don't have this colorized yet. Somebody, if you have this colored in 1982, maybe I should go look for it. But I'm pretty sure he's wearing a white and red shirt too, because it has that cross motif, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure that's it.
Wow.
Really dark guy, dude. Literal necrophiliac, bro.
You wonder what kind of horrible, I don't even want to know, things have happened in Malta behind closed doors or just with this club in general.
It's interesting you say that because in my other research, I did shows on Charles III, King Charles, who to me is very creepy, member of the Magic Circle, like occult stuff. But his mentor was a guy by the name of Mountbatten, who was like an elite guy, but he was a known He liked teen boys. And
Ooh.
yeah, that was his thing. It was known. It was always in the news. And he had kind of like it wasn't like that's what he did. Like he was I don't know what the right word is, like a Hebrewophile or something. But he would go to Malta to find teen boys to rape. Like they wouldn't call it rape there, but that was like one of his places to go to, like where they specialized in male brothels for dudes, young boys for dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, not my idea of the party.
Yeah, Malta and Mountbatten, when he was blown up by the IRA off the coast of Ireland, and he was on a boat with like three teen boys or something like that.
Disgusting.
Yeah, bad. Anyway, Jimmy Savile, Knight of the British Empire, OBE, Papal Knight, and the Knight of Malta. I don't know what a Papal Knight is, but he was connected to the Catholic Church. I mean, I've learned so much about these different orders within the Catholic Church I didn't know much about. Yeah. This is the Caravaggio. This is like a history of him being a knight and his masterpieces and stuff like that. It's interesting. Charles III, Knight of Malta, coronated. British Knight suspended by the Order of Malta for writing highly critical book about Pope Francis in 2018.
That's the same picture we saw earlier, I think.
Sure is. Yeah. That guy, I think, is Ensler on the far right. I'll take a snapshot of his face, look at him, because I'll show a better picture of him here in a second.
Okay.
For us, Malta is family, says King Charles III, who's in his last days, supposedly.
Yeah. Is cancer, right?
Yeah. Total monster. He's another monster.
Oh, yeah.
A picture of another knight, like a night during the thing. Prince Charles visits Malta to commemorate courage shown during Second World War. So he was there. Constantinian Order and the Sovereign Military Order of Malta. I don't know what that is, but anyway, this was a Bertie on the left. You'll see he's with one of the popes. So that's Ratzinger, but he's wearing his Maltese cross all over. If you see that, it's got it all over his regalia.
Oh,
he's on course to become the first head of the Knights of Malta's chivalric order, to be considered as a candidate for sainthood.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. And then my other one is.
Yeah. Wow. It's really deeply embedded and so old, millennia old, like you're saying. It's just
1,000 years. Here's the guy we talked about earlier. That's the current head in all his regalia and all his Knights of Cross and stuff.
Canadian guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alina Abba in the Oval Office with, I think this guy was an intel guy on the left. I forgot his name. They're pointing. I think Trump is behind them, and then there's Kash Patel.
She loves her red again. Yeah.
I don't know who these other two people are on next to her. This is an interesting. These are two guy Knights of Malta uniforms. One is Joyner, if you know, kind of. I think he's a evangelical Christian, is a Knight of Malta, and then Boykin is, I think, either a Joint Chiefs of Staff or something like that. So they're together, both wearing their Maltese cross. Some people have criticized these guys as LARPers, like live action role players, and Christo fascists. But I think they take themselves seriously. So I think that they really think of themselves as members, knighthood, knight members.
I'd say so.
Have fun dressing up, but still do. Yeah. Hegseth again, who we've covered with that Jerusalem cross. He's hanging out at the temple, the Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is all like super important because the Jews want to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, and there he is.
Wow.
People talking about it like they're talking about getting rid of the Dome of the Rock and rebuilding the temple, which was destroyed.
Well, and these guys hate the Muslims too, so
it makes sense that they're hanging out together, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. I couldn't seem to pull up his thing, but underneath, like he had his cross, I think it was on the right side of his chest. He had two words, Deus Vult and Kafir. He had it in Arabic. So he's calling himself a kafir, which is a contemptible word for like somebody who's not Muslim. So he literally calls himself an infidel.
An infidel, yeah.
Yeah, he self-acknowledges as an infidel. And he's written a lot of books. I haven't read them yet, but I
There's
think
a Jerusalem.
some insights. Yeah. So these are the different crosses.
Jerusalem
Teutonic
cross.
crosses, Jerusalem.
And they all have 8 points. And then down at the bottom, you can see the Maltese cross. It's pretty similar to those other 2 on the right there. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. A lot of those.
This was a girl who, she's an influencer, but she was sitting at the table when they had that ridiculous Epstein release, right? Where they were going to release the documents. She was one of them, and she has the same tattoo, the Jerusalem cross. She just got it. So.
Yeah, I can tell she just got it. Wow.
Yeah, I forgot what her name was.
Huh. So she's an influencer.
Yeah, she might be in Jerusalem. It kind of looks, the background looks like Jerusalem to me, but I don't know.
Like a YouTuber or something, or I don't know.
Unfortunately, I'm not prepared. I've seen her. I think I have another slide about her.
Yeah, I've seen her before. She just looks familiar to me. I just don't know where.
Maybe I could find it in my Epstein stuff. Epstein release. Let me see. I'm sure I have it here somewhere.
I mean, from here, it almost just looks like a Nazi symbol straight up. I know it's not, but it's.
Yeah, it does. It sure does. What's her name? I forgot these people's name. I don't know. I don't know this kind of new generation of like influencer types. Somebody went through and like made a post of all of their different names of the people in there. But there was like a guy. Shoot.
What she got around her neck, is that a Christian cross? Let's see. I can't.
Probably.
Yeah. She's definitely a dame.
Yeah, Christian cross.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. Somebody, I don't remember.
Oh well.
Anyway, I have it in my Epstein stuff. But one of the interesting things that's on a list is Clay Shaw. If you know the JFK assassination, it gives a different view to what Shaw. That means he's connected to Dulles and all these other people. That was really never disclosed. And in my readings of the JFK materials, I never came across it. So it's just another thing. This is a representative, Nancy Mace, I think from South Carolina, who is in the House of Representatives wearing her Jerusalem cross earring, right?
Oh, yeah. I just see that now. Okay. Yep.
And this guy, Eli Kahn, says, notice this earlier. Rep Mace with Cross of Jerusalem earrings might be nothing, but I'm seeing them everywhere in politics recently. So you have her and this other girl. I forgot what her name is. Shoot. But it seems to be a thing. This is, what's the girl? I forgot her name. It's, what's the girl who did all the dancing during World War II? This is her grown up. But she has this, like, she's obviously a dame of the Knight of Malta.
Yes, she is decked out.
Yeah, she is.
Sovereign military.
New constitution at the Knight of Malta. And then all these guys, they're talking about Iran-Contra. They're all charismatic, Church of the Apostles, Opus Dei, and the Knights of Malta. Catholic Casey attended Mass daily and filled his mansion with statues of the Virgin Mary. So Casey, Vernon Walters, Oliver North, and Johnson.
Oliver North, yeah. Wow.
More pictures of the St. John's church in Valletta. So it'd be very beautiful from a top-down kind of perspective.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't get it in there. I guess just not enough time.
John Roberts on the Epstein log, so what do they got on Roberts? This is their actually, it's interesting. The Knights of Malta have a kind of another headquarters in Rome, right? The Vatican City of Rome. And it's kind of famous. People will line up because they can look through this eye hole in the door and it shoots through the Malta, like the villa, the Maltese villa. And you see the cupola of St. Peter's Cathedral. We'll see that here. And you'll see it. If you look at that little, we'll see it. See this? This is on the door.
Oh, yeah.
So this is Italian. Via Magistral Sede Extraterritoriale. I don't know the exact. It's Jerusalem of Malta. It's the Italian, so that's Italian. And people literally line up to go take pictures of this and see through this eye hole. And this is the Maltese villa or, whatever, mansion, whatever they call it.
No one's allowed to go in there, or are they?
Well, they have pictures. I'll show you. This is what it looks like. You'll see the Maltese cross on there. So if you go to Rome, check this out. Like, this is the place. Like, this is it. It's on the Tiber, so it's on the main. Okay. It overlooks the main river that goes through Rome, and you can kind of see the red flag on top there, right?
Oh yeah, you can.
This is another view. Pretty cool. So that's it. And it has its own little chapel with the Maltese cross. It's called Santa Maria del Priorato. And then people waiting to get a view of St. Peter's Basilica through the door leading to the Via Malta. They call it the Via Malta. And that's the view.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the view they're looking for. So,
oh, wow.
It's a straight shot to St. Peter's.
Yeah. I feel like, we did that show on James Bond years ago. There's one movie that came out, one of the last ones, Spectre, and I feel like they go to somewhere in Rome, and there's this infamous organization there, and James Bond goes and sneaks in there, and I got to go watch it again, but I feel like there was a Knights of Malta symbol around there. Yeah, I'll have to check that out again.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I know that in one of the earlier James Bond movies, he goes into a club and it's called Le Cirque, which I mentioned in my first early slides. Yeah. So he knew that stuff. And it makes perfect sense because Fleming was like a son of a banking family and in Intel. And it could have been a Knight of Malta. Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because he was former British intelligence. So there could be a tie in there for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Himmler's Fourth Reich.
The reason I brought up Himmler, really good if you ever would listen to Mark Felton, but he was talking about how Himmler was the central figure who was a Knight of Malta in off-putting German assets because they knew the war they were going to lose. So he took a lot of the German assets and off-put them into South America. And then when the war kind of ended and the Soviets left and stuff, or it died down, all that money was repatriated, but threw up by other people, even though Himmler died. Yeah, that's interesting. I mentioned these guys earlier. This is Hand, Nugan Hand Bank, Edward Lansdale, John Singlaub, and Oliver North, Knight of Malta.
Yeah.
And Ned Lansdale was known as the Ugly American and was involved in all kinds of, I don't know if he was a Knight of Malta, but he was involved in all kinds of misdeeds, is a way to put it, globally. Philippines, Vietnam. Yeah. This is the guy who I thought looked like the guy at the front of that Maltese group, which I'll go back to. Take a look at his face, man.
The guy on the right?
Yeah, the guy on the right.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah.
This was the former guy. Miles Davis, Knight of Malta. Lyndon Johnson, honored by Knight of Malta. 1961. Oh, no. Monitor said President Lyndon Baines Johnson made a Knight of Malta. Honorary cross from SMOM. He was presented with the Grand Cross of the Order of Knights of Malta in recognition of his humanitarian efforts throughout the world.
I'm not surprised, though. I'm not surprised they did. Yeah.
And Bolin, Timothy Dolan, I mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. Oliver North, Knight of Malta. Buckley, Malta. Well-known Knight of Malta. Dolan, Walsh, Georgetown University. Jack Valenti, Knight of Malta. I didn't know that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah, crazy.
What? Oh.
Frank Capra.
Ted Turner.
Walt Disney, Bloomberg, Prince, Hearst, Rockefeller, all these names.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Wow, though.
Well, it kind of makes sense, actually, looking at all those people now.
Yeah, makes sense. Really good information on the Knights of Malta and Pilgrims at this, in the Cirque. Oh, God, I can't even remember the website. It's Michelle Chusodovsky's website. But they have a lot of guys who've done the research. And I showed you that picture looking through the Knight of Malta Villa at St. Peter's Basilica. That's it. So that's on their website, is that same kind of picture referencing the Knight of Malta. This is what, like we saw Rubio in front of the Holy Sepulchre. This is what it looks like inside. So you're supposed to be able to see the church and then Golgotha, where Christ was the place where he was supposedly crucified, and the tomb of Christ, supposedly. So
is there like passageways down to that tomb? I guess I don't know.
I haven't been in there, so I assume that that's the case.
Yeah.
And that's an assumption. I don't know.
Wow. They're everywhere.
There's a lot of them. Like Schwarzenegger, like these aren't people we know. Schwarzenegger, all this stuff. Like, it's crazy, man.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I should probably start wrapping this up, but that is,
I think so. That's about 90 minutes. So I'm definitely, my voice is going.
yeah. But that's thanks for coming on and sharing that, because that's stuff that people aren't really looking at quite. And now we have this presidency surrounded by Knights of Malta members. It's too early to say yet what's going to happen, but let's see where it takes us here.
Well, I think it's fair to say that there's a significant anti-Muslim contingent there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if that's the case, then we're just at the beginning, guys. We're not even in the third month. So, and there's a lot of saber rattling going on. Like, it's not good. Like, they're talking about attacking a country with 80 million people in it, Iran.
Yeah,
that's what that ghoul Netanyahu wants Trump to do. So,
yeah,
I don't want that on my, like, I don't want to be responsible for that. So.
No way. Yeah, it's scary. And they, well, in Trump's first administration, he had that guy Mad Dog, whatever his name was, Madden.
Yeah.
He was vehemently against Iran, and so it seems like Trump 2.0 could really go some crazy places.
It feels like it's going crazy. Like, he was saying he's going to be the peacemaker, but I don't see a lot of peace yet. So I'd like to see some peace.
Yeah. I mean, on the surface level, I've enjoyed some of this destruction of the woke things. It's kind of, laughable and fun to, like, yeah, finally get rid of that. But where we're going might be a little more serious than where we were going with Biden, actually. I don't know.
The thing is that the U.S. prized itself on being, another continent away, but those distances don't matter anymore. So they're not as present. When you have hypersonic missiles and missiles and subs and stuff like that, people talk about power projection, but I think the hubris of the American ruling class and the people, really, to like saying, oh, well, we'll never get touched, I think is naive, because it hasn't happened to us. The Russians are very conscious of it happening to them, because it happened to them in a big way in World War II. Right. So I think that Americans are sitting fat and happy and arrogant in their kind of power. And I think Trump is reflecting that to me. So it's a thing of great concern. And he should act like they should all act like real Christians and try to emulate what Christ said, which is, blessed are the peacemakers.
Right. But none of their actions, like just that whole AI thing, just putting that in, that's pretty scary. And that's not Christ-like, is it? So, yeah. But it's crazy because you got all these, people with TDS, and they're all, up in arms about things he's doing right now. They're not looking at any of this stuff, that we're distrusting it for a whole different reason. They're not even looking at, It's crazy.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, William, where can people find you? William Ramsey Investigates.com is your website, and you do a lot of work, a lot of great work, a lot of great investigations. And what do you got going on next? And
just busy. Got some projects coming out soon, hopefully, and got a lot of new material on my podcast, William Ramsey Investigates, and uploading a lot of material to my Patreon. So you can check out my Patreon, where you can listen to all my stuff ad-free. So if you're sick of ads or whatever, you can get ad-free. It's only $5 a month.
Nice. Good. Well, thanks for coming on, William. And we'll see where all this goes. But great work. Appreciate it.
Till next time. Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care.
Peace. All right. I have to go turn